Good morning. It is 9:08 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I didn't get much sleep last night. We were riding high. We had a Little League game. Got crazy. Shout out to the Mets. Shout out to the Tigers. That's who we were playing. Great kids, great team. They got a good lead on us, and then we came back and we pulled out a victory. And it was so exciting. So I want to start the show congratulating my Mets and also giving a shout out to the Tigers who we played last night. And you wouldn't believe these kids. You wouldn't believe them. These kids are so selfless, so about the team that after the game, we round all the kids up and I said, what do you guys want? I said, anything you want. I said, let's go to the snack stand. I'll grab you hot dogs. I'll grab you ice cream, whatever you want. You know what they said to me? Do you have any idea what these kids are 5, 6, and 7. You know what they said to me?
Well, they do.
They said, Coach, all we want is for people to like and subscribe to the show tomorrow.
Wow. That's so selfless.
Did you have video of that moment?
I was too choked up to take video, Joan. I was, It was one of those moments that they tell you about when you're coaching. That it hits you right in the feels. And, you don't know when those moments are going to come, and they're few and far between, but wasn't a dry eye in the place, I'll tell you that much.
You had me in the first half, I'm not going to lie.
No, but it was a fun game last night. Shout out to the Mets. We are live. You can listen to us anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. Super Talk TV is live where the Mets, they want you to go like and subscribe to the show. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Our personal favorite is YouTube. The chat is jumping over there. We got a lot to get to today. There was a bit of a meeting yesterday with the 51st state. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Carney, and we're going to talk about Donald Trump. I don't know. Should I be excited about this? There was a big meeting yesterday where Trump convened the first ever White House task force on the FIFA World Cup. They put this long video out. And they're pretty excited about the World Cup over at the White House, and I'm a little bit torn on it. I'm fine with things that are positive for America, but then it's at the same time it's soccer, So this isn't Little League baseball. This is soccer. I don't know if it's as important, but they put out a nice video on it.
Welcome to the first meeting of the White House FIFA Task Force. In my first term, I negotiated the return of the World Cup to America, and now in my second term, I'll have the honor of hosting the World Cup for the first time of any president in more than 30 years. Starting this June, the United States will host the 2025 Club World Cup, and next summer we'll host the official 2026 World Cup tournament.
America will welcome the world, everyone who wants to come here to enjoy, to have fun, to celebrate the game.
I think that you'll see the very best of the United States of America, both in athletic competition, but also in hospitality.
And that's about as far as I made it in the video, and I realized, why am I still watching this? It's soccer. It's I listen. Now, I understand these guys are great athletes. And I know our boy Chad, who comes on after me, is going to be very excited about this.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know you can slander golf for a little bit, but Chad might defend soccer.
He's going to defend soccer. He's going to. But I just don't care. And I don't care. I don't care at all. If you guys want to host a Mets Little League game, I might get excited. I'm just going to let you know. We're up for that. There was other news yesterday. So there was big meeting in the Oval Office. We had Mark Carney in there. Mark Carney is the new Prime Minister of Canada. But during this press conference, there was a lot of talk about what's going on with the U.S. and Canada. But the bigger stories were what was asked of Donald Trump outside of the 51st state. One of those questions had to do with the Houthis. And President Trump said, we're done with bombing the Houthis, and we're done with bombing the Houthis per their request.
We had some very good news last night. The Houthis have announced that they are not, or they've announced to us at least, that they don't want to fight anymore. They just don't want to fight. And we will honor that, and we will stop the bombings. And they have capitulated, but more importantly, we will take their word.
Please, sir, Please stop bombing us. Now, if you've been paying attention and keeping score at home, you understand that the Houthis have been bombing and attacking ships in the Red Sea for over a year. You understand why that is such a key shipping route, getting goods to Europe, as opposed to having to go all the way around Africa, which adds weeks onto the journey and so much more money in the process. So the Houthis have been a wrench in our side out there. So we've been bombing them pretty liberally, if you will. And Donald Trump said, listen, they've had enough. They've capitulated. And they said, please, sir, no more.
They say they will not be blowing up ships anymore. And that's what the purpose of what we were doing. So that's just news. We just found out about that. So I think that's very, very positive. They were knocking out a lot of ships going, as you know, sailing beautifully down the various seas. It wasn't just the canal, it was a lot of other places. And I will accept their word, and we are going to stop the bombing of the Houthis, effective immediately. And Marco, you'll let everybody know that?
Marco's going to let everybody know. Marco, send him a memo. Let him know. Marco's on it. Marco doesn't have enough things to do. Marco, know you're in charge of like 15 agencies now. But when you get a second, let the Houthis know.
Can you make a video that matches the effort of the football, of all the soccer stuff?
I wish they would,
we're not
right?
bombing them anymore.
You would think that would deserve more of a video.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It seems like a bigger deal. There was
Making
no
an agreement with soccer balls or stop bombing.
video about balls, video about not bombing. The choice is yours, White House media team.
Balls in your court. Sorry. Wrong game.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do a big unveil for that. He's just like, oh, by the way, Houthi said, please stop bombing us. And we said, okay. BT dubs. This is what's going down. Also, I don't know what authority he has to do this, but did you hear that he's renamed another Gulf? Our esteemed president has.
Oh,
The Persian Gulf will now be known as the Arabian Gulf.
I don't know if
he's allowed to do it,
I don't know either.
but that's what we're rolling with. I'll let you know when the Apple Maps and Google Maps update comes out.
Yeah, I'll be curious if that actually goes through.
Yeah. Do you think, would people be mad about that? I have no idea.
I don't know.
It's the Arabian Gulf now. This is 2025. This is what we do. We're renaming things, and we're going to bomb people sometimes. And then when they ask nicely to stop, we'll stop.
Stop, because we're not evil.
It's 2025. We got a World Cup to get ready for. We can't just be bombing the Houthis nonstop forever. What do you think this is? So that's the news. You got anything?
Nope. All right.
Trump also yesterday responded to the conflict between India and Pakistan. This is a war as old as time, and part of me wonders if you've heard a lot of rumors about trade negotiations between India and the U.S. 0 for 0 on steel and things of that nature. Part of me wonders how much of these talks have had to do with the war with Pakistan, because it seems like the timing is very, very convenient, where we're having positive negotiations with India on tariffs, and then Pakistan is having negative issues with India on, things like war. But war broke out yesterday.
Have you had any reaction to the attacks between India and Pakistan?
No, it's a shame. We just heard about it just as we were walking in the doors of the Oval. Just heard about it. I guess people knew something was going to happen based on a little bit of the past. They've been fighting for a long time. They've been fighting for many, many decades and centuries, actually, if you really think about it. No, I just hope it ends very quickly.
Hope it ends very quickly. Bill Malugin, actually, he posted a great tweet, and it's timely and on point. But he posted this last night, and I reposted on my X account, at Chris Hand on Air. Bill Malugin, who's, the border reporter from Fox, fantastic reporter, he said on X about India versus Pakistan, "You are about to see grifters out in full force posting old videos, fake videos, video game footage, AI, etc. regarding the conflict with India and Pakistan. Be aware, and follow sources you trust. And I think that's such great advice right now, especially as conflicts are breaking out. We're in this information age where we can see so much war footage in real time. And we've seen it nonstop with Russia and Ukraine. But one of the things that we saw in the beginning of the Ukraine-Russia conflict was, just that video game footage being shown as war footage. You remember stories like the Ghost of Kyiv and things of that nature. Just make sure before you share stuff on social media that you verify that it's real. Bill Melugin went on to say that he's already seen several videos from Yemen, where the Houthis are being bombed, framed as Indian strikes. So there are fake videos flowing out there. There are real videos flowing out there too. Just know the source, trust the source, and verify the information before you repost. Just a good rule of thumb. Bill Melugin there on X talking about that. And I was going through Twitter last night, as I'm sure you were, and you see videos where you're like, it looks pretty good. Have no idea the authenticity. And fun fact, never been to India. Can't confirm the neighborhood that this is allegedly happening in or not happening in. So just take everything with a grain of salt. But we had several missiles reportedly being fired by India into Pakistan yesterday, labeled Operation Sindoor. The Indian Defense Ministry said that it targeted 9 sites of terrorist infrastructure in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and Jammu. ABC News reported. Pakistan's army said that India attacked, and I apologize, I know I'm going to butcher these, but just know I'm giving it a college try, okay? Pakistan's army said that India attacked Bahawalpur, Kotli, and Muzaffarabad. Muzaffarabad.
You did that really well.
I think if you say it faster.
Right. You just have to say it with confidence, whether or not it's right.
Pakistan's army said that India attacked Bahawalpur, Kotli, and Muzaffarabad.
Perfect.
That sounded confident. Mm-hmm. 3 people being killed, 12 injured. According to CNN, India carried out the attack in response to one carried out on tourists in India-controlled Kashmir in April. In that attack, gunmen opened fire on tourists in Palgram, killing dozens. Pakistani Prime Minister Mohammad Shahbaz Sharif's office said in response to the military operation, the Pakistani nation and Pakistani armed forces know how to deal with the enemy very well. The enemy will never be allowed to succeed in his nefarious objectives. It's a breaking story, something that we're going to be following very closely here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. But all this news really coming out of just some big press conferences and big settings inside the Oval Office yesterday. The biggest, of course, the discussion with the governor of the 51st state, Mark Carney. After their discussion, a Canadian reporter says to Mark Carney, "Did you ask the president to please stop calling us the 51st state?" And he said, "Yes." They said, "Well, what did he say?" "Well, he said no." That's pretty much how it went down. I got the audio for you on the way. Hang out with us. A lot to get to. 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead, new missile attacks between two nuclear-armed countries. Also, 2 years after a hit-and-run crash here in Nashville, police have finally made an arrest. We've got those stories at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It is 9:27 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Yesterday, we had Mark Carney in the Oval Office, the governor of the 51st state. Trump says to him, this is how they start the meeting. This is how it started. Trump said, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. That's what he said in my terrible Trump impersonation.
No, that was great. That was great.
He's right. Trump is the best thing to ever happen to Mark Carney. In fact, after the election in Canada, they were doing exit polls as to what was the most important issue with Canadian voters. Trump was the most important issue. Not your high taxes, not your liberal scam of a government. Trump. So when Trump looks at Mark Carney yesterday inside the Oval Office and he says to him, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, he's absolutely right.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Mark Carney with us. As you know, just a few days ago, he won a very big election in Canada. And I think I was probably the greatest thing that happened to him, but I can't take vote credit. His party was losing by a lot, and he ended up winning. So I really want to congratulate him. It was probably one of the greatest comebacks in the history of politics. Maybe even greater than mine, But I want to just congratulate you. That was a great election, actually. We were watching it with interest, and I think Canada chose a very talented person, a very good person, because we spoke before the election quite a few times. And it's an honor to have you at the White House and the Oval Office.
So that's how he opened. It was pretty nice. Very humble of Trump. I may be the greatest thing that ever happened to you. I may be the reason for your comeback. It might have been a bigger comeback than mine, but it wouldn't have happened without me. That's our president, and I love him for it. I don't want him to change one bit. But as the conversation went forward, Trump made a couple promises. He promised to stay friendly with Canada. He said, we love Canada. We love Canada. But he also said that we want Canada. And when Mark Carney said Canada's not for sale, Trump makes a face that is one for the ages. And you should be watching on Super Talk TV so that way you can see the video of this. But Trump looks at the camera, breaks the fourth wall, kind of laughs it off and says, never say never. I'll bring you that clip when we get back. It's 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 9:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Kingston Springs on...
Somebody, hold on. Somebody check on Joan.
Yeah.
Mason, can you go get her a water?
I'll be all right.
All right.
In Kingston Springs this morning, you got to watch it. There's been an accident there that police have been trying to clean up for a while now. It's 40 eastbound between Kingston Springs, Ashland City exit, right there at 188, all the way through McCrory Lane exit 192. It's still jammed up in that area. Then you've got 40 eastbound before Mount Juliet Road. That's 226. There's a crash that's blocking the right lane. Murfreesboro, 24, the westbound lane's running pretty slow at Joby Jackson, and that's because of a crash that blocks off the left lane. Pretty rough out there already this morning. In the news, there have been more attacks between India and Pakistan this morning, and we get more on that now from ABC Chief News Foreign Correspondent Ian Pannell. Hang on. Let's go to another source on that. We get more here from Ian Pannell.
According to arrest documents, police used DNA from a water bottle found in...
Okay, so the computers are down. I can tell you that there is still some trading of missiles going on between the two countries, and ABC News is keeping on top of that this morning. Nashville police announcing the arrest 2 years after a hit-and-run crash that took the life of 26-year-old Kimberly Ben-Azu. News 2 is reporting that a stolen Dodge Charger had slammed into a car that she was driving at the corner of Dickerson Pike and Old Hickory Boulevard in February of 2023.
According to arrest documents, police used DNA from a water bottle found in that charger to identify 25-year-old Torian Bean Jr. He's now charged with criminal homicide.
It is not clear why the investigation took 2 years to yield results. Bean is in jail on a $150,000 bond. Cardinals from across the globe have gathered for their final mass before the papal conclave begins. ABC News chief international correspondent James Longman is in the Vatican City with how secrecy is being handled.
These ancient halls will now go into effective lockdown. Jamming technology will ensure no service. The chapel and sleeping quarters swept for bugs, and the small number of assistants, housekeeping and medical staff tending to the electors have also sworn to secrecy. One of the final acts before conclave begins, the doors to the Apostolic Palace sealed with the words conclave and 2025.
And stocks are trading higher at this hour. The Dow is up 231, NASDAQ gaining 98. We've got the S&P up 28 points. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Are you living with neck pain, back pain, knee pain, nerve pain? You understand that you don't have to, right? You understand that you could be back to a pain-free life today. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is going to help you with that. They've been changing lives with non-surgical, drug-free treatments that will target the root cause of your pain. So you can forget the pills, you can skip the surgery, and you can work with some guys that specialize in non-surgical spinal decompression. This is a high-tech therapy that will actually heal your spine and your nerves naturally. Dr. Mitchell, trained all over the world. Dr. Ashley, expert in chiropractic care and holistic healing. So whether you're dealing with sciatica, neuropathy, herniated discs, these guys have real solutions for you. Right now, limited time offer, the Big 47 deal will land you 47% off that non-surgical spinal decompression. So don't waste another day living in pain. Link up with the Wellness Institute of Nashville right now. 615-246-5009. The sooner you call, the sooner you heal. 615-246-5009. Or you can visit them online, painisbad.com. 38 minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I'm watching a gang of Cardinals enter the Sistine Chapel as the conclave is beginning. You see
I thought they were a flock.
Is it a flock of
Cardinals?
Flock. A gaggle.
I don't know.
A gaggle of Cardinals. What's the correct term? You see these guys? Are you seeing that too?
Yeah, I'm seeing it on Fox News right now.
You got them all walking in, and they got these outfits on. And part of me wishes I knew what the outfits meant. Because if you look at them, they're all wearing the red, but then they have like this like white, I don't know, I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like the white apron thing. You see that? And there's like different markings on all the aprons. And I'm assuming that means something.
Yeah, it probably has to do with ranking or
it's got to be ranking, right?
Listings in a church or, yeah.
The power rankings for Cardinals.
Yeah, how strong are they?
It's got to be something. I'm actually pretty interested in that. I'm probably going to Google that during the break. Also, over on YouTube, we're live. Super Talk TV is up. Hit like, hit subscribe. Joan, a lot of people are liking your shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How come?
They just say it's styling.
Really?
And they're trying to buy it.
Really?
People want to buy your shirt.
You can't buy the shirt off my back.
Well, everybody has a price, Joan. How much would you sell the shirt for?
Oh, wow. No. And maybe $10.
I bet you we could get like 100 for it.
You think?
Oh, yeah. You're Joan Jones.
Yeah.
You're Joan Jones.
Can we wait till I get home and wash it?
I think everybody would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nick on the text line said that you need to be a war correspondent, Joan.
I just saw that.
Because your ability to adapt and overcome.
When the computer freezes up
Yes.
on you, that part, yeah.
Yep.
Love these computers.
Yeah, you gotta love it. It's like chicken from Popeyes. We're here for it. Joan Jones is in the newsroom. She's one of the best. So yesterday at the Oval Office, we had Donald Trump sitting down with the Prime Minister Mark Carney, and Trump kicking things off, saying, "Guys, regardless of what happens, we'll always be friends with Canada."
Yeah, please.
What's the top concession you want out of Canada? The top concession you want out of Canada?
Concession?
Yes.
Friendship.
But that's not a concession.
No, we're going to be friends with Canada. Regardless of anything, we're going to be friends with Canada. Canada is a very special place to me. I know so many people that live in Canada. My parents had relatives that lived in Canada, my mother in particular. And I love Canada. I have a lot of respect for the Canadians. Wayne Gretzky, I mean, how good, the great one. You happen to have a very, very good hockey player right here on the Capitals, who I have a lot of respect. He is a big, tough cookie, too. He just broke the record.
I don't know if that's an intentional troll or if he doesn't know that Ovechkin isn't Canadian. If it was an intentional troll, it's masterclass the way he pulled it off. I think the more likely scenario here is that he thought Alexander Ovechkin was Canadian. Either way, still funny and infuriates the Canadian.
And he's a great guy. And, we had the team here, and I got to know a lot of the players. But now Canada is a very special place.
Very special. Home of poutine. Home of penguins, I would assume. Penguins, several.
At least 2.
Polar bears.
Maybe.
Arctic wolves. It's a majestic place.
Probably.
It's a majestic place. Everybody loves America's hat. And no matter what, we'll always be friends with America's hat. That's what Donald Trump says. But he also says, it makes sense if you guys want to become a state. It makes a lot of sense. You know, I mean, listen, we're already basically doing everything for you guys anyway. So why not link up and become a state?
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, I'd like to get your response to this too. Mr. President, you have said that Canada should become the 51st state.
Yeah. No. Well, I still believe that, but it takes 2 to tango, right? But no, I do. I mean, I believe it would be a massive tax cut for the Canadian citizens. You get free military, you get tremendous medical cares and other things. There would be a lot of advantages, but it would be a massive tax cut. And it's also a beautiful, as a real estate developer, I'm a real estate developer at heart. When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, But when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be.
I mean, what did I say a second ago? Majestic, right? It's majestic. It would be even more majestic if it was part of America. Much more.
But, you know, it's, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But
if you're watching the stream, you can see the video along with this audio. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Mark Carney didn't like that comment at all, and I think the reason it hurt was because it was true. You see, if Canada was invaded, yeah, America would step up in a heartbeat, and maybe not even to protect Canada, but just to protect American interests. Canada can't stand on its own. Canada would be nothing without America. Trump is exactly right. We take care of Canada. We keep Canada safe. Canada doesn't really pay anything for that protection. Canada kind of owes us.
I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
So that's about a minute and a half. And throughout that entire time, you can see Mark Carney sitting there kind of stewing a bit. He's kind of getting into his feelings. He's looking a little bit annoyed with the line of questioning. I don't know if he's necessarily annoyed with Trump, but he's annoyed with the premise. He's probably heard this enough, right? Like the guy just spent, how long did they campaign for? A month in Canada. They basically have all their elections are Kamala Harris sized. So they campaigned for a month. He hears it nonstop. Now he's sitting in the Oval Office with the president, a week after winning the election, and he's dealing with it again. The reporters are still asking about it. He's a bit annoyed. And he says Canada's not for sale. Now, while he says this, if you're watching on Super Talk TV, I want you to pay attention to Donald Trump's face. Because Trump's face goes, we'll see about it. We'll discuss. As soon as Mark Carney says Canada's not for sale, you can see this smirk go across Donald Trump's face. Like, that's nice. I don't believe you. Which, I don't know why, but I love it.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the.
Did you see that? Did you see the subtle head nod from Trump? We'll see. We'll see. Also, now, when Carney says, I spent the last several months talking to the owners of Canada, I understand he's talking about the voters there, but don't you feel like that's a poor choice of words? Like, a lot of people are like, oh, you mean the individuals behind the curtain that run Canada and pick the leaders? Is that what you're saying? I felt like it was a very poor choice of words. But as he says, Canada is not and will never be for sale, Donald Trump goes, all right. That's interesting.
But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalize NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
So he pushes back, and he says Canada's not for sale, and then he gives the president some props for what he's done for NATO. Trump, that's true. That's true. He gives the president some props for the military help that we provide to Canada, essentially. Yeah, we do have to talk about our own self-defense. Carney says, like, yeah, you do. But Trump then says after this comment, he looks at the reporters. He goes, well, never say never. Never say never. Mark Carney says that Canada's not for sale, and Trump says, well, it's not for sale now, but never say never, because things could change very, very quickly.
Well, they like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO, and that will be part of it.
True. And they have, I must say, Canada is stepping up the military participation, because Mark knew, they were low, and now they're stepping it up, and that's a very important thing. But never say never. Never say never.
I love the guy. And I mean, you can just tell Mark Carney is he's a bit uncomfortable. He's having a tough time dealing with Donald Trump. And his own media knew it too. His own media just, I mean, they were like sicked on him like rabid dogs. They find him after the fact, and he's giving a press conference, Mark Carney, and he says, "Did you ask the president to stop calling Canada the 51st state?" This is a line of questioning that Mark Carney has to deal with, and this may even be funnier than the Trump press conference.
Hi, Prime Minister. Stephanie Taylor with the National Post. I heard you say, there's a difference between the president's comments around Canada becoming a 51st state as a wish versus a reality.
Never say never.
You told him that Canada was not for sale. But many Canadians are offended and deeply angered by the fact that he keeps repeating this comment. So have you asked the president to stop calling Canada the 51st state?
Have you asked the president nicely, sir? Did you say please when you asked him? Canada's feelings have been severely hurt, damaged, almost beyond repair because of this just brutal assault on our sovereignty by being called the 51st state. Have you asked the president nicely to stop, Prime Minister Carney?
Yes. Today.
Okay, specifically, what did you ask him?
Exactly what you just said.
But what words did you use? How did you ask him?
Look, I gave you an answer. Do you have a follow-up?
I'll say. What was his answer?
Well, we'll look. I don't know. He's the president. He's his own person. I would go back to showing the difference between a wish and a reality.
His answer was no. Actually, spoiler alert. What, can you stop calling us the 51st state? No, Mark. You look like a nice guy. I'm looking forward to working with you. We're going to keep calling you the 51st state. Sorry, mate. That's just going to be the way it is. You are the 51st state. I thought it was nice that Trump introduced him as the prime minister and not the governor. I thought that was a total sign of respect. And I think that's about as far as we're going to get currently. You're going to be the 51st state. And if you don't want to be the 51st state, well, then we can just root for Alberta secession. If you know that the government of the province Alberta, where basically the majority of Canada's natural resources are, doesn't want to be a part of the Liberal Canadian government. And these talks have been going on for a long time, and who knows where it'll go. It'll probably nothing will happen. But we don't even really need Canada. We could just take Alberta, and their entire economy would be crippled. And then we could charge them a massive tariff if they want to go through Western Canada to Eastern Canada. It actually might even be better than taking all of Canada, truthfully. But a lot of reaction to the meeting between Governor Carney, President Trump. You had Doug Ford, the premier of Ontario. It's like their governor in Ontario. He weighed in on it. And then we had Stephen Miller weighing in on it. Very different reactions to the same conversation. I'll bring you both of those when we get back. It's 9:52 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Well, it's here. Real ID is required now to board domestic flights. Also, why it's hard to seat a jury in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial. Got those stories coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. So the reaction from the Carney-Trump meeting in the Oval Office yesterday, it depends on who you're listening to. Two sides to the story. Premier Doug Ford out of Ontario, that's like the Ontario's governor. He went on CNN to talk about the conversation and his reaction to it.
As you know, Premier has called Prime Minister Carney, and I'm quoting now, a very nice man, and has avoided calling him governor, as he used to do all the time with the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Does that give you any hope that the relationship between our two countries, the United States and Canada, can be repaired and strengthened? What do you hope can be achieved during this meeting today?
Well, I believe that they will have a great relationship. President Trump went as far as endorsing, Prime Minister Carney.
Oh, he endorsed him. Will the relationship between our countries ever be repaired, says Doug Ford. Stephen Miller had a different response to the conversation. He said, what we saw was a grandmaster in chess. And he says that what we witnessed Donald Trump do is unbelievable. Stephen Miller's reaction to the conversation between Carney and Trump. He talked about it last night on, I believe this was Laura Ingraham or Sean Hannity, one of the two.
Of getting to be at the meeting today between the President of the United States and the Prime Minister of Canada. What I witnessed was like watching a grandmaster in chess perform. President Trump has opened up a completely new relationship with Canada because of his strength and because of his diplomacy. The Prime Minister of Canada talked about finally contributing their fair share to our nation's defense, or to NATO's defense. Finally contributing and meeting that minimum 2% benchmark and climbing up from there, so they're not a free rider with the United States anymore. He talked about achieving fair trade with the United States and acknowledged, the Prime Minister of Canada acknowledged the need to strike a fair trade deal with the United States, as President Trump has long asked for. He emphasized, the Prime Minister of Canada, his deployment of troops and guards to the Canadian border at President Trump's request to keep fentanyl out of the United States of America. It's just one concrete win after another because of President Trump's leadership.
He's right. One concrete win after another. Trade deals should be coming in very, very soon. We're going to talk about that on the way. Plus, Epstein files. Have you heard what James Comer said yesterday?
Uh-oh.
Did you? You didn't hear it?
I did not.
Well, it's going to make some people very upset, and it's going to make others go, called it. We'll talk about it when we get back. It's 10:01. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. They are still working a crash scene on 24 westbound this morning. This is at Joe B. Jackson Parkway, and we're told that the crash is in the median. First responders are on the eastbound left shoulder, so that left shoulder on the westbound side is blocked off, too. Quite a mess there this morning. If you're headed to the airport, keep in mind that the requirement for real ID starts today, and it may come as a surprise to some flyers.
I think there's going to be a lot of nervous people if they get to the line and they're like, do you have your real ID? And they're going to be like, my what?
Yeah, that man speaking to Channel 4 this morning at BNA. If you don't have yours, you can bring along a passport instead or a federally approved form of ID. Kids under 18 do not need the real ID. The corruption case of former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassada and his chief of staff, Cade Cothran, may end up in a mistrial. Yesterday, prosecutors mistakenly played part of a recorded interview between Cassada and FBI agents that was supposed to have been redacted for jurors. And with that, defense lawyers called for the mistrial. The judge replying, quote, "We just can't have an error like this." A mistrial would mean that case would start over with a new jury. Renting an apartment in Nashville can be a nightmare, as this man tells Channel 4.
They don't even have prices on their websites like that. That's why. Like, how do you do research when you have to go call in? The price could change next week.
Yeah, Channel 4's Brendan Tierney says that Metro Council will take up a resolution supporting an investigation into high rent prices.
The resolution sponsors say rent keeps going up, even as the housing supply is starting to meet the demand of Nashville's growth. A new analysis of Zillow data shows that the median rent price in Nashville is now over $1,800 a month. And across the county, the average home sale price has reached $428,000.
The Justice Department, Tennessee, and some other states have sued to stop landlords from using algorithms to set prices. The Walt Disney Company expanding its reach, announcing it'll open a theme park and resort in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. Already, Abu Dhabi is hosting entertainment shows like the Broadway version of The Lion King and Disney on Ice. Abu Dhabi and the rest of the United Arab Emirates are all Muslim-majority countries with strict Islamic laws on cultural and religious norms. And the jury is expected to be seated today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial in New York. Opening arguments scheduled for Monday, but there is trouble selecting this jury.
They ran into a few complications with some of the prospective jurors. There was one guy who told the judge it would be difficult for him to stop smoking marijuana on a daily basis during the trial. Another guy, the defense said, came in with an agenda. He's the dad of two daughters. He called the allegations of Sean Combs troubling, and so he was dismissed. And then there were people that just were not able to serve for different reasons. Either they didn't understand the language well enough, they had job problems.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
10:07 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. If you like the show, support our sponsors. We appreciate it when you do so. You can listen to the show anywhere, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV is live. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I got a text here from 4702. It said, Chris, I may have missed this, but it's the biggest news of the day. Did you let the boys have walk-up music at baseball, and what was it?
Oh, that is a big...
It is. It is
big.
I did let the boys have walk-up music. Even though I'm not a walk-up music kind of guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to steal the joy from the young ones. So Bishop did Shipping Up to Boston.
Okay.
Which is a classic.
Yeah.
And what did Brooks do? I don't know the song Brooks picked.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
In fact, when I heard his song, like all I really thought was kids. And then he got a hit and all was forgiven. Shout out to the Mets. And shout out to the team that we played last night, the Tigers. Great kids. Good bunch of kids, great coaches, good team. They were whooping on us all game, and then somehow we came from behind and pulled it out. Just a fun game, fun night.
You said 9-8 was the score, right?
9-8.
Let's go.
My boy Brooks got the winning run. He batted in the winning run. So
what a proud coach and a proud dad.
Pretty cool. And after the game, I said to the boys, and I mentioned this earlier, but you probably missed it, 4702, so I'll just say it again. I said to the boys after the game, I said, guys, take a knee. So I'm going to do anything you need. I said, we can go to the snack bar, we can get hot dogs, I'll buy anybody ice cream. I'll do whatever you guys need. You kids earned it tonight. And do you know what those kids said to me? Those kids looked at me, and they said, Coach, all we want is for people tomorrow to go to YouTube and like and subscribe to your show.
Oh, whoa.
And I said, these kids are unbelievable. And, there wasn't a dry eye in the place.
Oh, I believe it.
The
Absolutely.
selflessness of those boys after a come-from-behind victory to turn down free ice cream and say, Coach, all we want is the people of Nashville to like and subscribe to the Super Talk Facebook page. I was like, guys, this is what I signed up for.
Just giving back to the people.
It's one of those things that they're like, you're going to give back, but you're going to get back so much more. And I always thought that was just a talking point until last night. And those guys.
But you, Coach, you're going to give back to everybody.
Unbelievable team. Unbelievable team win. And, just proud coach moment. Proud. So today, as you're going through your day, remember, the Little League Mets from Murfreesboro want you to go hit like and subscribe. Appreciate it. All right, on to more serious.
Hold on, you gave him snacks still, right?
Yeah, we gave him snacks.
Okay, good.
I brought the snacks. I brought the snacks, I mean Virginia signed up and made it happen. I took credit.
Thanks, Victoria.
Last night, one of the guys said to me, one of the kids, they said, Coach, where do you need me? And I said, buddy, you're asking the wrong guy. I said, I'm not the brains of this operation.
Just the face.
I am in the morale and the war paint department. If you need eye black or a motivational speech, I'm your guy. If you need actual baseball knowledge, seek another coach. So, all right, deal. So I love those guys.
Go stand in that field over there. I think it's part of the game.
All right, so before the break, we were talking about the Epstein files. And James Comer, House Oversight Committee Chair, James Comer, you know him well. You may remember him from such news stories as the Biden crime family. James Comer went on the Benny Johnson show yesterday, and he basically crapped all over the Epstein files. And he said they're never coming out. Pretty much. He said that what happened was, in his estimation, is that the FBI probably deleted just about everything. This happened yesterday on Benny Johnson's show.
What's next? I mean, we did a little bit of a preview on the Epstein files. Obviously, that's like finding a unicorn in Washington, D.C. You have come on and talked about that on this program, just for the sake of transparency, which is very big for you. And so, in closing, any motion on that? Any movement on that? We hear that there's a timeline now.
I hope James has the Epstein files, because I don't think the Department of Justice has them, or at least the Attorney General does not have them, or she would have turned them over.
I don't think they have them, he says. I don't think they have them. If they had them, they would have turned them over, right? You would think. I mean, Trump promised to release them. Pam Bondi promised to release them. Kash Patel said that they're going to be released. So you would assume by this point, we would have had them if they were going to be released. James Comer says, I wouldn't put all your eggs in that basket.
The president ordered them released. The attorney general ordered them released. We all know they have not been released. And one of my biggest fears that I had, and I expressed this with Kash Patel and a lot of people, Stephen Miller, and a lot of people going into the new administration. I'm like, I hope they're not shredding documents right now. This was a few weeks before the transition. I said, I hope they're not shredding documents.
But I think that we can all understand that possibility is very, very real. I mean, look no further than Doge. We had Doge kids saying that when they went into a government institution, they found individuals deleting evidence and they had to recover it. So it's not like this is far-fetched. It's not like this is a wild underbelly of the internet conspiracy theory that they could be deleting the Epstein files. I mean, you'd have to ask why. I think we could all come to those conclusions, but it's not out there. This was a very real possibility, and James Comer said that was his biggest fear. And he let people know that was his biggest fear.
But you all need to go on that first day and try to get all this stuff released, because my fear is from what I've dealt with in investigations and in communication with this deep state apparatus, is they're probably in there shredding documents as we speak. So hopefully someone has a copy of that, and I hope we find out, because our task force has done everything, led by Anna Paulina Luna. You had her on your show many times. I mean, she's relentless. She's persistent. She's pretty frustrated right now.
She's got that dog in her.
That these files haven't been released, even though the president and the attorney general have ordered them released. But it's like I told Anna the same thing I told Patel and everybody else. I'm like, you assume that somebody in the deep state said, okay, we'll just put these in a file back here, this incriminating evidence on everybody, and maybe the next administration can do whatever they want to do with it. That's unfortunately the way it's supposed to work, but it hasn't worked.
James Comer saying, guys, you know they probably deleted everything, right? And you know that Attorney General Bondi probably has nothing, and Kash Patel probably has nothing. And I warned them that this was going to be deleted, and apparently nobody took him seriously, but he's saying, essentially, they're never coming out. They're never coming out. Again, that's James Comer, House Oversight Chair. He said that yesterday on the Benny Johnson Show. This took the internet by storm yesterday. And a lot of people that were black-pilled on the Epstein files coming out, a lot of the doomers were like, see, told you so. And it's hard not to be like, yeah, you're probably right. And it's a bit disappointing. A little demoralizing, to be perfectly honest with you. How long have we been waiting for these files? We get this new administration in. They make these big, grand promises. They release those binders to the influencers. And again, I've made this point many, many times. I don't blame the influencers for getting the binders. I think it was a lousy plan by the Trump administration, Pam Bondi in particular, that they were going to use this against the SDNY at the FBI, and that they were going to use the influencers to leverage the scrutiny against the FBI's SDNY office, and then they were going to use internet backlash, and they were going to be forced to release them. There was originally planned an afternoon press conference that was going to coincide with those releases online that never happened because the influencers found reporters, and they do what influencers do. Yada, yada, yada. We've been down that road many, many times. But James Comer, this is new. They're not coming out. They've been deleted. At least that's what he thinks.
With this deep state.
So they're just going to let the incriminating evidence sit there smoldering that could put them all in prison.
Yeah,
right?
no. Yeah, I wish they should. That's what they're supposed to do. But, you and I have dealt with them. Benny, you've covered the deep state as well as anyone. I mean, they cover their tracks. Yeah. And it's just hard for me to believe they're going to leave incriminating evidence if the government was involved. If the government wasn't involved, I don't think they would have any reason to protect Bill Clinton or Hillary Clinton. They're never going to be elected anything again. I don't think they would have any reason to protect Bill Gates or anybody else. The concern I've always had about the Epstein file was the government involved. Did the government know? Was the government using Epstein and the videos to blackmail the most influential people around the world.
And if not our government, then which government, I think, is also a very important question.
If that's the case, then they knew there were victims of sex crimes there, and they did nothing. So, that's the concern I have. If the government covers this up, I don't believe it's because of any love affair or affection for the Clinton family, just like I never believed they were hiding and covering for the Bidens because they loved Joe Biden. It was because they hated Donald Trump, and they didn't want their agencies to be disrupted. The same thing with the Epstein files. I don't know this, but my concern is that that the government may have known a lot more and may have been an active participant, maybe with the intentions of intelligence gathering. Who knows?
I don't know. Let's not assume that our government's going to do evil things behind the scenes, right? That's a bridge too far for me. The government doing shady stuff behind the scenes? What? Never. Now, this broke yesterday, and it was massive news. Pam Bondi was confronted at the White House earlier today to be asked about these James Comer comments. The comments where he says, guys, this stuff is deleted. You're never going to see it. Sorry. Hate to be the one to break it to you. So they asked Pam Bondi about it earlier today. This is a little while ago, maybe an hour ago. And Pam Bondi laughed James Comer's comments off.
James Comer said yesterday that all the Epstein files are missing. Can you confirm what the status of them? They still haven't heard from you.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find out.
Her initial reaction was to completely laugh it off. And I don't know, man. You got to prove it. You got to put your money where your mouth is. Pam Bondi has been an absolute disappointment. Let's be perfectly honest. I saw a tweet the other day that said, if Pam Bondi was about 30 years older, 300 pounds heavier, and missing a few teeth, we wouldn't be as easy on her as we've been. And I tend to think that that's pretty close to the truth. I think a lot of people have been handling Pam Bondi with kid gloves, hoping that she's going to do the right thing, but we keep waiting for her to do the right thing, and it just seems like that's all we're doing is waiting. So she laughed that off. She said that they're going through thousands of hours of videos of Epstein with children. It's time to start naming names. It's time to start putting people in silver bracelets. If you have the evidence, we need to start seeing some of the evidence. It's been far too long. And if this attorney general can't get the job done, maybe we need a new attorney general. It's 1021 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Somebody on the YouTube chat talking about Pam Bondi called her Bill Barbie. Nice. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. If you haven't had your AC tuned up yet, you shouldn't wait. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they want to make it easier than ever for you to get your AC tuned up, running the right way, maximum peak efficiency, and they're going to help you save some money along the way. See, TVA rebates have been extended. Right now, if you install a mini split system rated 17 SEER 2 or higher, you can get up to $800 back. And on top of that, qualifying customers can get 12 months with no payment, no interest, depending on your credit, of course. And here's a smart move. You join the Beehive Club today. That's $99 per unit. And right now, with those rebates that have been extended, you'll get a $50 rebate for your spring tune-up. Then you'll get another $50 rebate for your fall tune-up. If you're doing some quick napkin math, at $99 for a Beehive Club membership per unit, those two tune-ups pay for your Beehive Club membership, and it comes with so much value, including front-of-the-line service, no overtime or holiday fees, up to $1,000 annual accrued replacement credit, and front of the line service. Did I mention that? That's been clutch for me. When my AC went out, they were at my home in less than an hour. You need the Beehive Club membership, and if you buy one this month, you get one of equal or lesser value for free. Call them today, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, online, busybhvac.com. Oh, looking forward to that story and something I'm going to talk about a little bit more after the news at 10:30 as well. That's Joe and Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We're live on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial, and you can watch the show. Super Talk TV is up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. My boys, the Mets, my little league team that I'm the assistant coach for, they won last night, and they said, Coach, to celebrate this win, all we need is all your listeners to like and subscribe to your show today. I said, you guys, you can make me cry. They said we're doing it for you, Coach. I said, gosh. They told me that I would get so much more back than what I put in when I volunteer for this kind of stuff, and I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it until last night. Mike in Mount Juliet wants to talk about the Epstein files. What's up, Mike? How we doing, man?
It's sad that we keep having to talk about this instead of seeing some results.
Amen.
I called this months ago, and I made a bet, $1,000 wager with, I'm assuming, Matt Murphy. I thought it was you, but the screener said it was probably a Matt Murphy thing.
Matt Murphy is known to gamble a little bit more than myself. That sounds more Murph than me.
He let his hummingbird butt override his alligator mouth. And I knew that there was no possible way that, as you call it, the deep state was going to let any of this come out. They're all involved. And until we have a 1775 kind of thing going on and take over, it's going to be more of the same.
I was hopeful, man. I was hopeful for a little bit. After that influencer thing, my hope really plummeted. And then you start.
Bondi is garbage.
Yeah, well, you start learning more about Pam. You start learning more about Pam Bondi. She was the AG in Florida during this entire time that Epstein was allowed to run around and do what he was doing for whatever government he was doing it for. So
yeah, it sounds like she might be on the list.
She might be. She might be. There's also, and I appreciate the call, Mike. There's also a big story that James O'Keefe says he's dropping today. And James O'Keefe says he's dropping a massive story. And people have been like slowing down the teaser clip that he posted. And a lot of people are wondering if Pam Bondi is going to be involved in this big James O'Keefe story that O'Keefe Media Group is dropping today. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, let me turn that down. It's just all slowed down. If you're watching on Super Talk TV, you'll see this slowed down clip of this story teaser that O'Keefe put out, and you'll notice Pam Bondi in the clip. If you slow it down, it's like right around 11 seconds. You know, it shows Epstein, shows Bill Gates, and then Pam Bondi in the background. They're also pointing out Pfizer and things like that. I don't know what the story is, but a lot of people are saying maybe Pam Bondi is going to be involved in this James O'Keefe story today. I have no idea. That's just the rumors on the internet. And you know the internet. You know rumors. The internet rumored that the Epstein files would be released. Here we are. Here we are. Once again, it doesn't seem like that list is coming out anytime soon. I do wonder who you believe. James Comer said that the list is not coming out, that the FBI probably deleted all the evidence, that he warned Trump administration officials that they were probably going to delete all the evidence. Pam Bondi responding this morning saying that's not the case. In fact, she laughed it off, saying, no. We're reviewing tens of thousands of videos. That was Pam Bondi this morning outside the White House in response to the James Comer comments that we're never going to see the Epstein list.
No, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now. The FBI is diligently going through that. I haven't seen that statement, but I'll call him later and find.
I'll call Comer later, she says. I feel like this is going to be a big topic of conversation as the week moves along. James Comer versus Pam Bondi regarding the Epstein files and the lack of a release we were promised. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. On the way, I want to talk a little bit about what's been happening in Nashville with these ICE detainments and, talk about our esteemed mayor here in Nashville and just how heartbroken he is. It's 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 now, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. New details about the ICE traffic stops in Nashville. ICE telling local media that there have been 84 arrests since Saturday, including a Tren de Aragua gang member from Venezuela and a convicted child molester from Mexico who had been deported multiple times. Fox 17 reports that they have spoken to some undocumented immigrants who are considering self-deporting because of these ICE operations. ICE agents also raided several restaurants in Washington, D.C. yesterday, and that includes Chef Jeff's. It's a chain of restaurants owned by the husband of CBS News anchor Norah O'Donnell. ICE agents were said to be asking for employees' I-9 forms. Those are the employment verification records for foreign workers. It's happened again. A U.S. Navy jet from the USS Harry S. Truman aircraft carrier has gone missing.
For the second time in 8 days, a $70 million U.S. fighter jet has been lost in the Red Sea. Officials say the F-18 was attempting to land on the USS Harry S. Truman at night when it fell off the deck, plunging into the water. Both pilots ejected in time. Just last week, an F-18 on the Truman went overboard while being towed. Other recent issues on the carrier include a collision with a merchant vessel back in February and the accidental shoot-down of a fighter jet back in December.
That's ABC's Rhiannon Alley reporting. And there won't be a Triple Crown winner this year. We've just learned today that the Kentucky Derby winning horse Sovereignty is not running in the Preakness on May 17th. Sovereignty's trainer said he wants to give the horse more time between races. The next race for Sovereignty then will be on June 7th at the Saratoga Racecourse in upstate New York. It's the Belmont Stakes. That's the latest news. Weather is up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand for my friend Shane Ring over at Cover Nash. Now, paying too much money for health insurance is not fun. And let's be perfectly honest, calling to have your health insurance changed, that's not fun either. But Shane Ring can actually make it easy for you and make it a little bit more enjoyable. There's a new plan on the market that could actually change the entire way you're doing health insurance, and it'll bring your deductible down to just $250. That's right. Not $5,000, not $8,000. Just $250. And the best part is you don't have to wait for open enrollment. Shane can help you switch and start saving money right now. See, Shane's been doing this for over 20 years, and he's going to shop the entire market for you, over 75 different companies, to find the best fit for your budget and your health needs. So whether you're self-employed or between jobs or just plain old overpaying, Shane could be saving you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. So stop overpaying and call Shane Ring today, 615-465-0023. You can also hit his website if you want to, covernash.com. But the phone number is going to get you saving money way quicker, 615-465-0023. Affordable quality coverage managed by you, not the government, covernash.com.
From the Beacon Capital Management Weather Center.
Thirty-six minutes past the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to us by our friends at Better Water LLC. If you love the show, support our sponsors, betterwater.com. If you need a water filtration system, love those guys. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. YouTube's our personal favorite. The chat over there is jumping. Hit like, hit subscribe, and all those platforms have a share button. If you like the fact that we're allowed to speak the truth on Super Talk, you can help us amplify that message by hitting the share button on whatever platform you're on. We appreciate it when you do so. It's free to do, so please do. Please do. Before we start talking about the border and Mayor Freddie and how heartbroken he is. I got a text here from Mario, and this is in response to Pam Bondi versus James Comer. And I responded to Mario after this comment. I said, Mario, fair point. Fair point. Mario said, Chris, to be fair, Comer said he had the goods on the Biden crime family, and not a damn thing came from it. James Comer needs to sit down and shut up. Valid criticism of James Comer there. Very valid. Very valid. Who do you think should sit down and shut up? James Comer or Pam Bondi? I don't know. I feel like the audience would be pretty split on that. Maybe we have a bit of a recency bias when it comes to Pam Bondi, right? Like, it's been a while since we thought about James Comer and the Biden crime family. So maybe James Comer does need to have a tall glass of shut up, but doesn't mean he's necessarily wrong. But I digress. Mason is over there looking like he's going to start a poll or something on YouTube. Is that what you're doing? You look like you were working.
I was contemplating it. I was like, this might be good.
I saw it. He like grabbed the mouse and he started doing some like furious stuff. And I was like, yo.
I was typing away.
You're about to put up a poll.
Do people want the poll? Do we want the poll?
I don't know. I don't know if people want the poll.
I don't know. I think it's pretty. I don't know if we need a poll to say 50-50 for most of the day.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I do know, Mayor Freddie, he has been having just sleepless nights ever since these ICE raids happened in Nashville. Tossing and turning, just heartbroken. Thinking about family separation. He's just, he knows that what ICE and DHS did in Nashville over the weekend doesn't make Nashville a safer city. And he wants Nashville to be home for everybody. All Nashvillians, he says, including ones who are even here illegally, apparently. And as Mayor Freddie is heartbroken and setting up community funds to help the migrants, we're now learning more about the raids in Nashville. Fox 17 has this story. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents arrested multiple individuals with serious criminal histories during a recent operation in Tennessee. According to a statement from Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, among those arrested was a member of the violent international gang Tren de Aragua and an individual convicted of aggravated assault and several undocumented immigrants with prior drug charges. No one should want these criminal illegal aliens to be on the loose on American streets. They also got a child sex predator. Now, remember, Freddie went on the record and said that this doesn't make Nashville more safe. And I just want to point out, removing Tren de Aragua gang members, illegal aliens with serious criminal histories, and individuals who have been convicted of aggravated assault and undocumented immigrants, as that's what Fox 17 said. Undocumented. They're undocumented. With prior drug charges, this is a good thing, and it does make Nashville more safe. You know, it's funny. I was talking with a coworker the other day, and I don't know if she would want me to say her name during this because of, liberals. But she said to me, hey, we hear on the news for weeks and weeks and weeks, months even, there's a rise in break-ins in Nashville and a rise in car thefts and a rise in assaults and everything's going up. But now everybody's silent about all that. All the libs don't want to talk about the crime issue in Nashville when ICE and DHS comes into town and starts helping them with the crime issue. It's rather convenient. And I think it's also important to point out that as we're scooping up Tren de Aragua gang members here in Tennessee, it's important to point out that Venezuelan officials, Venezuelan officials facilitated Tren de Aragua's migration here to the U.S. And they did so to destabilize governments and undermine public safety. So when a Tren de Aragua gang member is picked up here in Tennessee, you do understand that they were sent here by a foreign government to undermine public safety. So they were sent here to make the public safety less safe, and ICE is now making the public more safe Yet Freddie O'Connell is heartbroken and says it doesn't make anyone more safe. Are you following this logic? The Post-Millennial has a story, and it's on this new report out of the National Intelligence Council that has uncovered that there are some Venezuelan government officials who have facilitated Tren de Aragua's criminal efforts in the U.S. The reasoning per the report is to advance as what they see as the Maduro's regime goal of destabilizing governments and undermining public safety. While Venezuela's permissive environment enables TDA to operate, the Maduro regime probably does not have a policy of cooperating with TDA and is not directing TDA movement to operations in the United States, the report reads. But the IC bases the judgment on Venezuelan law enforcement actions, demonstrating that the regime treats TDA as a threat, an uneasy mix of cooperation and confrontation, rather than top-down directives characterizing the regime's ties to other armed groups and the decentralized makeup of TDA that would make such a relationship logistically challenging. Furthermore, most of the IC judges that the intelligence indicating that regime leaders are directly or enabling TDA migration in the United States is not credible and would need redacted, reporting, redacted, corroborated, redacted. While FBI analysts agree with the above assessment, they assess some Venezuelan government officials facilitate TDA members' migration from Venezuela to the United States and use members as proxies in Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and the United States to advance what they see as the Maduro's regime goal of destabilizing governments and undermining public safety in these countries. Again, this is based off DHS and FBI reporting as of February 2024. FBI analysts agree with the above assessment, but they assess some Venezuelan government officials facilitate this TDA movement. You have members of the Venezuelan government encouraging this and facilitating this. There was an earlier report from the FBI that said Venezuelan officials are likely using members of Tren de Aragua to destabilize the United States as well as other nations. The new IC report states that while Venezuela's permissive environment enables that they're not so sure. Depends on who you ask. I tend to believe that they are being sent here on purpose to destabilize. Now, how organized is it? Up for debate. Up for debate. Who are you going to trust? I tend to trust the FBI a little bit more here, especially under this new leadership. Maybe I'm off there, but you have some statements that say that the Venezuelan government is absolutely facilitating this to make our streets less safe. That's at least what the FBI believes. So if the Venezuelan government has officials that are sending TDA members here to make the public less safe, when we remove them, we, by de facto, are making the public more safe. Freddie O'Connell doesn't believe that. Freddie O'Connell calls this heartbreaking. And I just wonder, what do you want to see? You know, I saw a story in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, vacation destination, luxurious Cape Cod. They had a daycare that had to be forced to close because they were housing an illegal alien who was wanted for child rape. And I just wonder, do we need a story like that to make Freddie O'Connell wake up? Is that what we need? I mean, this story's horrific. Daycare in Cape Cod closed this week after housing an illegal migrant wanted for child rape in his home country of Brazil. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirmed that agents arrested this man in Massachusetts last October after learning he'd been living in the home of living at the home daycare of Francile Nunez. Lucas, allegedly the father of two children, fled Brazil to escape a 9-year sentence for raping a 13-year-old girl. Do we need a story like that for Freddie to take the crime from illegal aliens serious here in Middle Tennessee? Is that what we need? Do we need a horrific wake-up call for Freddie O'Connell to take the crime serious? I don't know. I don't even know if that would wake him up. These people are just brainwashed by this liberal ideology. Charlie Kirk said it best. He posted this yesterday. He said, the current Democrat platform, mass migration, dirty cities, men and women's sports, baby killing, high taxes, inflationary spending, anti-police, anti-male, anti-woman, anti-white, anti-American, pro-foreigner, pro-gangbanger, pro-Hamas. What did I miss? And I would just say pro-child sex predator, because apparently removing them doesn't make your city more safe. That's the only thing you missed, Charlie. It is the only thing you missed. I mean, do we need that kind of a wake-up call? Is that what our liberal politicians in Nashville need? I saw another story. Illegal aliens they attacked NYPD officers. They got cut loose. They got cut loose because of liberal policies in New York. Classic, right? Yep, of course. So you attack police, you're out on the streets. Tom Homan was talking about this last night on Fox News with
that's what
Laura
they are.
Ingraham. And this is his response to those illegal aliens who were attacking cops in New York and are now free on the streets.
But the three of them who are still on the loose, your message to them tonight?
We're coming for them. And these are the type, I want to explain something. These are the type of people that AOC brags while I'm educating people to their constitutional rights. We all know what she's doing. She's educating illegal alien criminals how to invade law enforcement. But now I'm going to do a little education myself. You don't want to open the door. You don't want to answer a question. You don't want to help us with the travel documents and get you removed. That's a violation of Title 8, United States Code 1253. It is a crime. And we're going to start prosecuting those crimes tomorrow. So if you got a final order and you want to hinder your removal, you want to put roadblocks up and not cooperate, you want to hide, you want to not open the door, then the agency's going to start prosecuting you criminally. Then after you get out of jail from that prosecution, then we'll deport you. Game's over. We're going to look for these public safety threats, and we're going to take them off the streets in New York and every other sanctuary city. As a matter of fact, every sanctuary city, we're going to triple the workforce. We're going to flood the zone with officers. If we can't arrest them in the jail, we'll arrest them in the community. If we can't arrest them in the community, we'll arrest them at their work site. We're going to triple work site enforcement operations. We're going to flood the zone. We're going to take these public safety threats off the streets with your help or without your help.
I hope that Mayor Freddie O'Connell hears the message from Tom Homan. We're going to get him whether you like it or not. We're going after these individuals. And now some sanctuary city mayors are pretty tough, right? The Colorado mayor says, I'm going to stand in the way. I'll go down fighting. I don't know if Mayor Freddie is tough enough to stand up to Tom Homan and ICE and actually cross the line into impediment, which would be a felony. I think Freddie's too soft for that. Freddie's probably just going to piss off both sides with what he does. The conservatives are going to be mad because he says, removing these illegal alien gang members and child sex predators doesn't make Nashville more safe. And then on the other side, by not standing in the way of Tom Homan and ICE, he's going to piss off all the liberals in the city. I think he's in a tough spot. I do, but I don't think he's ever going to stand up to Tom Homan and ICE and cross that line into impediment because I think he's too soft, and I think he's heard messages like this from Tom Homan, just like everybody else has.
You can support sanctuary cities all you want, but if you cross that line of impediment, which is a felony, if you cross that line of knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien from ICE, that's a felony. We're going to ask the DOJ to prosecute. I'm not a prosecutor, but we're certainly going to ask for those prosecutions. The Democrats said forever, no one's above the law. No one's above the law. But they want a different set of rules for illegal aliens. You said it in your monologue. The whole zero tolerance thing, right? They didn't want families separated when a parent was prosecuted. Kids can't go to jail with parents. But as a cop, when I started my career, I separated U.S. citizen families all the time when a U.S. citizen parent went to jail.
Yeah, but there's different rules for U.S. citizens and for illegal aliens. Again, Freddie is not strong enough to stand up to Tom Homan and ICE. What Freddie O'Connell is going to do is, again, he's going to piss off both sides of the aisle. He's going to piss off the conservatives, and he's going to piss off the liberals. Both of us are going to say that he's not doing enough. And he's in a tough spot. But until we get the illegal alien crime under control, until we have elected officials who are willing to be strong in the face of Tren de Aragua members and child sex predators and gangbangers and terrorists, well, then your protection is going to be your responsibility. And so when I train at the Glock store. Lenny McGill is on the line. You guys have the best training, and you have an open house coming up on May 31st for anybody that hasn't been to the Glock store and seen the indoor shooting rooms. What's up, Lenny? How we doing, man?
I'm well, thank you, Chris, and thank you for having me. I just want to chime in on this Freddie, the Mayor Freddie concept. The other day he literally, they were fake tears. It was so obvious, unbelievably, fake.
Yeah.
So I'm just shocked that he, thinks he can pull this away, and people don't see right through that. So,
but I think
anyways, we got a big event coming up on May 31st.
Yeah, but I do think Freddie's going to piss off both sides here. He's in a rock and a hard place because the conservatives are going to say you're not doing enough, and then the radical left elements are going to say you're not doing enough.
Yeah, I know, but it's just too too pandering to is fake news left side. That I'm so concerned. Well, why is he not concerned about crime, and why is he not concerned about the safety of citizens and not necessarily the safety of illegal aliens? That's what kills me.
And this is why I got you on, man, because right now in the city of Nashville, your safety is really your own responsibility, and that's where the Glock store comes in.
Well, exactly. And we do train for self-defense. We have a unique facility here that has shoot rooms, not lanes. So you can shoot at multiple targets. You can shoot with lights and lasers. You can move. You can draw from holsters. More realistic training than shooting down a lane. And honestly, people need to learn how to use a firearm for self-defense, and that's basically what we do. We train for self-defense.
Yeah, so Saturday, May 31st, you're rolling out the red carpet, you're opening the doors, and anybody that hasn't been to the Glock store yet, or even people that come all the time, you want them to come through for this big open house where you guys are going to have some wild giveaways. Custom Glocks. Did I hear custom Glocks?
We are giving away guns. We're giving away a whole bunch of different products that our vendors, are here, and they're promoting their products, but they're also giving away samples. So we have literally probably about $30,000 worth of stuff we're going to give away. We also have a shoot room set up for you can shoot any Glock, so you can train and test them, should I say. We also have a machine gun room set up, so it's going to be a lot of fun. You can come and shoot a machine gun.
Let's go.
And, do some stuff there. And then we have a little competition set up for speed and accuracy, and we're looking for the fastest shooter in Nashville. So we really have a neat program set up here, along with a bunch of different vendors that are going to be showing their products. And, of course, we've got specials and deals on all of our stuff, all of the Glocks themselves and the Glock accessories and Glock magazines and products that we always carry here at the store.
Man, it's going to be an awesome day. Saturday, May 31st. Lenny McGill, the one and only Glock store. Hey, I appreciate you chiming in and joining the conversation, Lenny.
Love to listen to you, Chris. Thank you.
Hey, man. Hey, God bless. Looking forward to that open house. It's 10:54 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Stanley spent his life in the saddle, wrangling whatever life threw at him, but nothing prepared him for the fight against ED. Shame practically hunched him over. Online pills just gave him a headache. He begged for a lifeline.
Well, maybe it's over.
Tennessee Men's Clinic said no. Medical conditions, old age, there's hope. This is about real treatments. Science, not one-size-fits-all guesswork. Tennessee Men's Clinic was designed for men who hate going to the doctor. Personalized plans, cutting-edge treatments, overseen by actual urologists and providers who take the time to listen. With AD and performance treatments others only dream about, we fight like hell to get you back in the saddle. Because every second you wait, your condition could worsen. Act now. Don't let time slip away. Dial 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Your consultation includes blood work with results before you leave. Tennessee Men's Clinic, making it happen.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call Trajan today at 615-270-5000. 615-270-5000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
All right, drivers, got some construction out there slowing things down. It is blocking the left lane, 840 eastbound, right there at 65 in Williamson County. Pothole repair in Sumner County. It's stop-and-go traffic starting at Gallatin Pike. If you're Vietnam Veterans Boulevard eastbound, right before New Shackle Island Road. Ongoing immigration enforcement in Nashville and the impact of the Supreme Court's temporary ruling on the transgender military ban coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. So when they chose when to do the pothole repair in Sumner County?
Yes, sir.
I heard somebody said, but boss, that's like lunch break. There's going to be so many more cars on the highway. And they said, exactly.
Eat fast, young man.
Every day. It never gets old.
Eat faster, have a tight grip on that sandwich in your hand because it's going to pop out.
Goodness.
Hitting those potholes.
Jeez. Let's do it. Let's do it when all the cars are on the road, boys.
Perfect.
Man, I forgot. There is one on you may have seen it, Brother Chris, and you too, Mason. You both come in from Murfreesboro. But I can't forget where I saw it. But there's one, it's either in Smyrna or it's in Antioch up there by Tanger Outlet where, I mean, it looks like a bathtub in the middle of the road. And I can't remember which lane it's in.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me, but I probably hit it every morning.
Yep. I've hit a few where it's like,
I hit one right after I got my alignment. Right
no.
after. And I thought, well, there goes that $200.
Maybe hit another one and it'll knock it back into place.
Yep. All right, so ICE is targeting restaurants in D.C. Wait until you hear whose restaurant they targeted. And I love the message that it sends. We're going to talk about it when we get back. It's a heartwarming story, if you will. I guess depending on who you ask. If you ask me, heartwarming. We'll talk about it next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, more than 80 people have been arrested since ICE teamed up with the Tennessee Highway Patrol for what is described as a public safety operation in parts of Nashville, where authorities say there have been a lot of serious crashes and possible gang activity. All this starting late Saturday. And in response to the ICE detainments, the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee and local immigration nonprofits started setting up a fund to help migrant families affected with their transportation needs, child care, and food. Now, according to ICE, some of the more than 80 arrests of undocumented people included a Venezuelan national with gang affiliations, 3 Mexican nationals with criminal convictions, including felony domestic assault, sex with a minor, assault, and illegal drug possession. Fox 17 says undocumented migrants they spoke to said they're considering self-deporting, with the Trump administration offering free flights and then $1,000 once it's confirmed they have deported. The Pentagon expected to start discharging transgender service members now that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled the Trump administration can move forward with its ban, an argument that transgender service members present problems for unit cohesion and lethality. 2 federal judges found little evidence to support claims transgender troops negatively affect military readiness. ABC News senior Washington reporter Devin Dwyer has more on the impact of that high court ruling.
Upwards of 15,000 service members could be transgender, according to advocates. It's a significant number in our force. And as a result of this decision yesterday by the Supreme Court, the Trump administration can move forward with removing those people from the military, despite their years of of service.
A jury is expected to be seated today in the Sean Diddy Combs sex trafficking trial in New York. Opening arguments reportedly scheduled for Monday. ABC's chief investigative correspondent Darren Katersky's following the trial, telling us about the struggle yesterday to find jurors.
They ran into a few complications with some of the prospective jurors. There was one guy who told the judge it would be difficult for him to stop smoking marijuana on a daily basis during the trial. Another guy, the defense said, came in with an agenda. He's the dad of 2 daughters. He called the allegations of Sean Combs troubling, and so he was dismissed. And then there were people that just were not able to serve for different reasons. Either they didn't understand the language well enough, they had job problems.
And right now in Rome, the cardinals of the Roman Catholic Church have entered the Sistine Chapel and are now, one by one, taking an oath of secrecy before being sequestered and the conclave starting the task of electing a new pope. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
One of the biggest fears of retirees and pre-retirees is running out of money. However, there are things you can do to help ensure your retirement money lasts you throughout retirement. Hi, I'm John Maxon, CEO of Beacon Capital Management. A solid income plan is the foundation of your retirement, and overlooking this critical area can cost you big once you retire. I'd like to offer you a free retirement income analysis. This free second opinion will factor in your savings and investments, Social Security, taxes, risk, fees, and more, so you can know exactly where your income will come from. Retiring with peace of mind requires a plan, and we're here to help. Take advantage of this free retirement income analysis now. 615-488-9303.
Investment advisory services offered through Beacon Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Beacon Capital Management, LLC is not affiliated with Brown & McGuire CPAs, LLC, or Knight Legal. Insurance products and services are offered through Beacon Insurance and Health, LLC. Beacon Insurance, an affiliate of Beacon Capital.
Keep the umbrella handy over the next couple of days. I'm WSMV4 First Alert Meteorologist Stefano DiPietro. A few rain showers throughout the mid-state today. Temperatures will top off near 70 this afternoon, but it's not going to be an all-day rainfall event. We should mostly dry things out tonight and through tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon, showers and thunderstorms develop the second part of our day. Any thunderstorm could produce damaging wind gusts, heavier rainfall, maybe even some hail possible.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Thank you for listening to the show. However you may be listening to the show, we appreciate you. Whether you're on the FM dial, the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, or you're watching us on the stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch, we appreciate you.
Peeking through the window.
Peeking through the windows. Was there somebody peeking through the window a moment ago?
Yeah.
Weaver's back there.
Big
I don't have a window.
I keep seeing him looking at you, Mason. He's rubbing his hands all weird and
mean mugging me,
flexing his eyebrows.
I'm in my own little box back here, boys.
Hey, we
I heard
appreciate
it was,
you guys.
dust encrusted over there.
Yeah.
It is. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit share on the show. If you like people talking the truth and spreading the truth, help us do that. Help us amplify the message. That's one of the best things about the internet. We can now reach far more people than an FM antenna can ever reach. So it really helps us when you like, subscribe, and share the show. So please do so.
Absolutely. I was going to say, like the Mets said, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Yeah, the Mets. I mean, shout out to the Mets.
Gotta love them.
My little league team came from behind last night. We played a great team in the Tigers.
Killer.
Great kids. They hustled. But, I mean, it came down to the wire, and my Mets pulled it out. And you know what they said afterwards? I said, and I've mentioned this a couple times. It was just such a heartwarming story. I said to the kids, I said, boys, after that victory, I'm going to do anything you need.
Anything.
I said, we can go to the snack stand. I'll buy everybody a hot dog. We can go to the snack stand. I'll buy everybody an ice cream.
All right.
And, I mean, the kids were excited. You know what they said to me, Weaves?
What's that?
They said, Coach, all we want is for everybody to like and subscribe to your show. And it was like that act of selflessness was just something I wasn't ready for.
Yes, sir.
There
Just hits hard.
There wasn't a dry eye among the parents.
No, sir.
During that team meeting. I mean, it was so selfless. They say when you volunteer for this stuff that you get back more than you give. And, I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it until last night. And they've really filled up my cup. So hit like and subscribe. Do it for the Mets. 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 That's what I do. They said, where do you need me, Coach? I said, I'm not the game plan guy. I got chants. I got war paint. I'm here for motivational speeches. Anything baseball related, talk to a different coach.
And a few snacks that my wife brought.
And I have snacks. I'm the guy at the end of the game. I pack up to snack up. That's my saying. And
Let's go.
Get the kids out of the dugout. And we get them some snacks. That's usually my area of expertise.
That'd be mine.
You guys a big orange slice team? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. And you quarter them so that way you can do the mouth guard.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the only right way to do it.
Yeah.
So,
growing up.
ICE is this is a heartwarming story, at least for me. Downright gleeful when I heard it. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was giddy. Some would say giddy. Because it's not about the money. It's about sending a message. And the message was sent yesterday in Washington, D.C. that if you are employing illegal aliens, you're going to have a bad day. ICE was targeting restaurants all over D.C., demanding to see federal forms proving work authorization for employees. And for that, my friends, we say thank you. Thank you so much. Let's do Nashville next. And let's let every restaurant and business owner know if you're employing illegal aliens, you may get a knock at the door. We got to see that paperwork. I'm here for it. I really am. Like, let's be perfectly honest. This is undercutting American wages. And you're paying individuals under the table. And screw that. Screw that. That's not gonna fly anymore. And yesterday, a message was sent in Washington, D.C. Restaurants, the Post Millennial has a story. Restaurants across Washington, D.C. were targeted by ICE agents seeking forms verifying employment eligibility for those working there. Per the Washingtonian, among those restaurants visited by authorities were Chang Chang in downtown, Chef Jeff, I think it's Jeff, but it's European, Chef Jeff in Northwest, Pupatella in DuPont Circle, and Millie's in Spring Valley. Millie's owner, Bo Blair, said they came in all the public entrances at the same time, around 8 or 9 agents, some of whom were plainclothes while others wore uniforms and had firearms. They came into the restaurant as it was opening for lunch. The restaurant's general manager was provided with a notice of inspection by agents who asked to question employees. Agents reportedly did not push back when the manager said they could not push back. Weird how that works. Marissa Casey, the CEO of Georgetown Events, which owns Millie's, said they made it pretty public that they're coming back to the restaurant on Monday to collect forms, which is pretty unnerving to the staff, obviously. Is it unnerving if you're here if you're here legally and you're authorized to work, why would it be unnerving? If you're an American citizen, why would it be unnerving? The only ones that I would find this unnerving for would be the illegal aliens, which is actually exactly what we're going for. And maybe this helps grease the wheels of the self-deportation operation and stipend that Donald Trump has been incentivizing these illegal aliens to go home with. Maybe if you understand that you can't just skate by anymore, work under the table, and keep making your money carefree, maybe you'll take the deal to go back home. Maybe. Staff is pretty unnerved, obviously. The I-9 forms requested by the agents are kept at the restaurant's corporate office, not in the restaurant, so they got to come back for them. And they say, we also don't want them to go back to our restaurants to scare everybody. Again, the only individuals that would be scared in this situation, I would guess, are illegal aliens. Agents that went to Pupatellas identified themselves as being with the Department of Homeland Security and requested I-9 forms, says Natasha Neely, their VP of Brand Marketing and Growth. Staff at the restaurant asked if the agents had a warrant, to which they said they didn't, and were just doing administrative work. The staff members referred the agents to corporate, and the agents left. So that was the scene. When you dig a little bit deeper, there's some interesting stuff at one of these restaurants. Chef Jeff's. Chef Jeff Tracy, fun fact, he is the husband of one CBS News anchor, Norah O'Donnell. What a coincidence. I'm sure that had nothing to do with anything. I'm sure it's just a happy little accident. So a CBS News anchor's husband, his restaurant was raided by ICE because they suspect him of employing illegal aliens. What are the odds? What are the odds? The raid, part of a broader ICE operation targeting upscale D.C. restaurants like Chef Jeff's and Al Dente, involved DHS agents checking those I-9 forms amid claims of focusing on serious criminals, though advocates argue it affects innocent workers too. To which I would say to those advocates, if you're here illegally, you're not innocent. And I hope every business owner that is employing illegal aliens takes note of this. The Trump administration is not messing around. You will be found, and you will be sent home. Not a tear will be shed from me. You came here illegally. You need to go back. Sorry. And I hope other business owners take note and decide that maybe you don't want the headache, and maybe if you have illegal aliens on the payroll, you should, I don't know, stop and hire American, prioritize American citizens. Yeah, that'd be great. I think that's actually a pretty good move. Pretty good move. We talked about Pam Bondi a little bit earlier in the show because James Comer said that he's under the impression that the FBI deleted all the Epstein evidence and Pam Bondi doesn't have it. Pam Bondi laughed that off, said they're going through thousands of hours of video. Pam Bondi has been somewhat busy. She announced yesterday a fentanyl seizure that is the largest in the nation's history. And listen, I'm going to knock Pam Bondi when it comes to the Epstein stuff because I think she's been weak. But when it comes to this kind of stuff, you got to give her kudos, you got to give her props, and you got to give her her flowers.
Agency operation led by DEA with our local, state, tribal, and federal partners targeted one of the largest and most dangerous drug trafficking and foreign terrorist organizations in our country. The DEA seized 11.5 kilos of fentanyl, including an astounding approximately 3 million fentanyl pills.
It's a lot of fentanyl. That is, it's a lot of fentanyl. 11.5 kilos, did she say? Jeez. Whew. That'll kill you.
Yeah, definitely more than I've ever seen.
How much fentanyl have you seen?
We don't talk about that. I just work the board here.
How much? You're usually at the 1 kilo mark.
Yeah. Well, 2 on a
Max.
weekend. Like if I'm
depends on who you're hanging out with.
Yeah. It was like Memorial Day weekend. 2.
Sending a tip to the FBI, by the way.
What? Huh?
The largest seizure in our nation's history. These are the pills in the bags right there. The main bottom right, the head of this organization, Sinaloa organization, here in the country illegally, 6 of these guys and women here in the country illegally. His name is Alberto Salazar Amaya. He is the leader, and he was living in Salem, Oregon.
Well, hey, but he's just here doing the jobs Americans don't want to do. Right?
Yeah, don't come after my Oregon man.
Leave the Oregon man alone. He's just undocumented, guys. He's doing jobs Americans don't want to do. How many Americans do you know are signing up to, I don't know, traffic fentanyl? I mean, I'm sure we could find homegrown American fentanyl dealers instead of these these illegal alien fentanyl dealers, right? Don't you think? Probably.
With him, they got millions of dollars, cash, cars, but the drugs were in Albuquerque, Phoenix, and Utah. That's how insulated these drug dealer cartel leaders make themselves.
So he kept himself protected. He kept the fentanyl far away from him, and they got him anyway. Listen, shout out to the DOJ. This is a great announcement, and it seems like we get a lot of these announcements, and I'm here for it. And again, I think that it's fair to be critical on Pam Bondi on issues like the Epstein files. She made it a spectacle, not the American people. She did that to herself. And I also think at the same time, it's fair to give her flowers on stuff like this. When you see these busts, and we've been seeing a lot of them, this is awesome. Like, this is great, and not something that we should do anything except celebrate. And we are seeing this kind of enforcement now after how many years of not seeing it at all? The National Border Patrol Council President Paul Perez was talking about the shift that we've seen from the Trump administration to the Biden administration, from the Biden administration to the Trump administration when it comes to these kind of enforcement operations yesterday on Fox News.
This is just the beginning, you have to think. We're still just several months in, just over the 100-day mark of this administration. She is vowing to crack down more. Are we going to see more of these busts in the near future?
Yeah, this was a long process, and this was less than 100 days that they would have been working on this. And within 100 days, they were able to get this close to it. So imagine 4 more years of this type of work. The Department of Justice is going to continue doing a great job. The FBI, DEA, everybody as a whole government approach is doing everything they can to make this country safer again.
I'm here for it. Listen, we do have to make this country safer again. We do have to get these gang members, these illegal aliens off the streets. We got to get these drugs off the street. And so often we have this conversation about the fentanyl, and it's like, yeah, I understand individuals make their own decision, right? But you're robbing so many of a second chance. So many. And I've lost friends to fentanyl, and this has to get under control. And then there's a lot of people that don't do drugs at all and find themselves in real serious trouble because of the fentanyl. I mean, we've talked about these stories ad nauseum where you have the baby at the Airbnb in Florida, fentanyl overdose. Like, that's not a drug user, but that's how dangerous this drug is. So kudos to the DOJ for ramping up these enforcement operations. I thank them for it, and I hope that we see many more of these busts to the point that we don't see any because, well, it's all been cleaned up. Fingers crossed that we get to that point. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, when we get back, if you're scrambling around trying to figure out what to do for your wife or your mom for Mother's Day, I'm going to make it real simple for you. Hang out with us at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Matt Murphy fuels your drive home with reaction to the latest news on the Matt Murphy Show.
It's what we're here for, and it's what we do.
The Matt Murphy Show, today from 3 to 7 p.m.
And streaming on the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
Stanley spent his life in the saddle, wrangling whatever life threw at him, but nothing prepared him for the fight against ED. Shane practically hunched him over. Online pills just gave him a headache. He begged for a lifeline.
Well, maybe it's over.
Tennessee Men's Clinic said no. Medical conditions, old age, there's hope. This is about real treatments. Science, not one-size-fits-all guesswork. Tennessee Men's Clinic was designed for men who hate going to the doctor. Personalized plans, cutting-edge treatments, overseen by actual urologists and providers who take the time to listen. With AD and performance treatments others only dream about, we fight like hell to get you back in the saddle. Because every second you wait, your condition could worsen. Act now. Don't let time slip away. Dial 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Your consultation includes blood work with results before you leave. Tennessee Men's Clinic, making it happen.
A growing number of Tennessee counties now signing on to an ICE enforcement program. We'll tell you about that and other top stories coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:24 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So, you need some help with Mother's Day? We're going to make it happen for you, all right? Hang out with us for a minute, and we're going to talk about this in a second. I'm just going to take care of it for you.
Oh,
I'm gonna.
Just making it easy.
I'm just going to take it off your plate. All right? Just hang out. That's on the way. Real quick, though, my friend Calvin in Lebanon, the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, wants to talk about fentanyl. What's up, Calvin?
Hey, Chris, I just wanted to say I was working at a lady's house, and she does her own yard work. And so she was doing the weed eating the day before I left, and I came home, and I'd done some weed eating, and I found a $5 bill in my yard. And so when I came back the next day, I said, well, guess what, Kim? I said, I got paid for my weed eating. And I told her I found that $5 bill. And her boyfriend works for the Tennessee Department of Corrections. He's an ex-cop. He said, oh, man, he said, don't ever pick up money. He said people are so mean they'll cover it in fentanyl just for you to pick it up in hopes that you get sick or die. He said, I'm telling you, he said, if you see a quarter, a dime, a dollar, or a $50 bill, he said, if you pick it up, it could have fentanyl on it. And I said, I'll be danged.
So you're not the first person that said that to me, and in fact, I've heard it from a few people, and then I've heard other people say, "Oh, that's just an old wives' tale. Don't believe everything you read on the internet." And I'm like, "Yeah, with me and my family, I'll err on the side of the caution. Don't pick it up."
And hey, also, I was there one day, and he said, "Guess what we're doing today?" He works for that mental prison where crazies go, Dairy something. He said we're giving out 750. What are they called? Not laptops, tablets. Oh. He said the prisoners kept complaining that they couldn't communicate with their families. And I said, well, they only doing it there? He said, no. He said, every prison in Tennessee is giving out laptops. He said, we got to go in, set up programs to keep them from getting on this, getting on that. He said they'll clobber themselves over the heads with them, steal each other's cords. But, yeah, I wanted you to know that they get tablets now.
Oh, hey, what could possibly go wrong with that, Calvin, right?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Hey, I appreciate the call, my man, as always. That is the distinguished gentleman from Lebanon, Tennessee, Calvin. So you need some help with Mother's Day, right? That's what you need. Everybody we're all panicked, right? You know, you don't want to screw it up. You can't screw this up. It comes once a year. We've had plenty of time to plan for it. Yet you still find yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do. Well, we can help you with that right now. We have a pre-Mother's Day concert happening at the Ryman, and my friend Mason has all of the details, and Mason's giving me this look because Mason's on the phone, and Mason he's stuck. He's stuck on the phone. Everybody calls to talk to Mason. Mason, what are we giving away?
We're giving away some Amy Grant tickets. She's performing at the Ryman this weekend on May 10th. So if you call in, what number caller should we say?
Let's caller number 9.
Caller number 9. It's the lucky number. Caller number 9 for Mother's Day giveaway tickets on May 10th. It's a pair of tickets, so you and your spouse can go, or you and your mother can go. I think it's going to be a fun weekend. We've been talking about her for a while on our ads rotating over the past month, so I think it's going to be a good show for sure.
People love Amy Grant.
People love her.
Anecdotally speaking, moms love Amy Grant.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get Mother's Day out of the way for you before you even get to Mother's Day.
Yeah.
That's how much we're gonna help you right now.
Yeah, it's going to be big. I think it's going to be a great concert, especially at the Ryman. The Ryman's such a beautiful venue as well.
Gorgeous.
So I think you guys are
gorgeous.
It's perfect. So caller number 9, be ready to go.
615-737-9986. We're going to take all of the planning, all of the hassle for Mother's Day off your plate. This is what we do here on the Chris Hand Show.
All right, I'm hanging up. I'm getting off so I can answer these calls.
We're about helping people, Mason. That's what we want to do.
That's what the Mets stand for.
That's what we're here for.
So you're not going to make people wrestle for these tickets?
We thought about it.
That would have been good.
They said it wasn't in the spirit of Mother's Day, the people downstairs in promotions. They said, Chris, fist fighting for Mother's Day tickets doesn't really sound like Mother's Day. And I said, yeah, but...
Yeah.
I think it would get us some good likes and subscribes on YouTube.
Yes, it would.
And they didn't take me up on it, but I hope that you take me up on it. Caller number 9 now. Those tickets are yours, 615-737-9986. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers in Williamson County got some road work. It is blocking the left lane, 840 eastbound, right there at I-65. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. Right now, the Tennessean says a growing number of counties in the volunteer state are signing on to an ICE enforcement program, 287G, which allows local officials to take on some federal duties when it comes to illegal immigration enforcement, like jail and serving civil warrants. Sumner County Sheriff Eric Craddock says he's opted to join the program to enhance the safety and security in the community there in Sumner County. Sumner County now joins 5 other counties, Giles, Knox, Greene, Hamilton, and Putnam, as part of this program in Tennessee. ICE trains local law enforcement, but it doesn't come with any extra money for this program. But the Tennessean says the state could provide financial incentives for local agencies under the new Immigration Enforcement Division headed up by new immigration czar Ryan Hubbard, appointed by Governor Lee, and who has 28 years of immigration enforcement experience. So there are at least 571 local agencies in 39 states, including Tennessee, that have signed up for the 287G program. Top officials at the Justice Department today announced a nationwide operation that has targeted online child sex predators. Here's ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy.
The Attorney General says the coast-to-coast sweep led to the arrests of 205 alleged predators in just 5 days.
The people that hide behind a computer and target our young children.
Pam Bondi says the mass arrests send a message.
If you are online targeting a child, you will not escape us.
FBI Director Kash Patel says police officers and teachers were among those arrested. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
11:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's flying by. I was just talking to Mason. I spent most of yesterday thinking it was today.
Yeah. He texted me about an interview that we're having on tomorrow. Come in, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, we got this big thing going on Thursday, man. Be ready for tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. I'm like, it's Tuesday, right?
Yep. Mason said, dude, it's Tuesday. And then I had to text Monica Page, who's our White House reporter. And be like, sorry, I just had this conversation with my producer. I don't know what day it is.
It's the wrong day.
But I know Wednesday's flying by. Tomorrow is Thursday, so I'm back. I'm back.
We straightened him out a little bit.
Donald Trump says America's back. And trade deals. He said this yesterday. Trade deals are going to be incoming like you wouldn't believe. He said he could announce them all at once, or he could, kind of delay them a little bit. And I think that's the route they're going to go. That way the positive news has more time to permeate and ripple through the economy and the market and all the things. But he said yesterday, I am the shopkeeper. Look at me. I'm the shopkeeper now.
Yeah. Announce later this week. Well, I can announce all of them now. I could announce 50 to 100 deals right now because, I'm the shopkeeper and I keep the store. And, I know what countries are looking for and I know what we're looking for. And
Look at me. I'm the shopkeeper now.
I am the shopkeeper and I keep the store. It's so good.
It's a nice shop.
I keep those windows nice and polished. It's good.
My customers are the American people.
It's the best.
Looking for, and I can just set those terms, and they can go shopping or they don't have to go shopping because everybody wants to shop here. This is like a beautiful store. This is like one of Bernard Arnault, or maybe I should say Alex, even more importantly, Young, the future. But Bernard's an honor to have you. We'll have a meeting after this. But he has the greatest stores in the world, and they want to shop. Our country is the greatest store in the world of that kind. And everybody wants a piece of it. And they took advantage of us for years because we allowed our presidents allowed it to happen. I don't blame China and I don't blame Vietnam. And I could name every single country all the way up and down the line. South Korea, every single country took advantage of us.
I like how he says, I don't blame them. I don't blame these other countries. And then you're going to notice that messaging is going to be pretty consistent throughout the administration. I got a couple clips I'm going to play from Scott Bessent, who says the same thing. We don't blame these individuals. Why wouldn't you want a better deal for your own country? It makes sense. The people to blame are the ineffective leaders that we had running our country for decades. And Donald Trump is now riding that ship.
Without exception, Japan, these are friends of mine, but they took advantage of this country. They ripped off our country, selling us millions and millions of cars a year, and we sold them none. We weren't allowed to sell them a car. They took advantage of us. I don't blame them. I blame the people that sat behind that desk that allowed it to happen. But I don't allow it to happen. I didn't in the first term, but this is a much stronger position because we're the greatest economy in history in our first term. Stock market was up 88%, and we had numbers much better than that.
And look at me. I'm the shopkeeper now. Now, everybody wants to come to the shop. The shop is booming. Lines around the block, apparently. We got a lot of countries coming to the table that want to negotiate. And we're hearing news now that the Trump administration is going to be negotiating and meeting with China in Switzerland. Yes, the one and only China.
China?
That's the one.
China?
Oh, yeah. In Switzerland. We're meeting with China.
China?
Yeah, that's what Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said. He said, yeah, we were going to be in Switzerland, and it just so happens that China's going to be in Switzerland too.
China.
So we're going to sit down. We're going to talk. Scott Bessent announced this last night on the Ingram angle, Scott's the most popular guy in the administration right now. You look at all the polling, everybody loves Scott. And I think it's just because he's no nonsense and he just tells you like it is. And he said, we were going there anyway. We weren't planning to be there to meet with China. We were going to meet with the Swiss. And just so happens that China's going to be there as well. So we're going to meet with them. And this isn't really necessarily going to be a trade meeting, but it is going to be a de-escalation meeting.
The world has been coming to the U.S. and China
has been the missing piece. I was going to be in Switzerland to negotiate with the Swiss. Turns out the Chinese team is traveling through Europe, and they will be in Switzerland also. So we will meet on Saturday and Sunday. And, look, we have shared interest that this isn't sustainable, as I said before, especially on the Chinese side. And, 145%, 125% is the equivalent of an embargo. We don't want to decouple. What we want is fair trade.
But who made the first call? Like in a dating world, like who makes the first call here today?
There are lots of calls, Laura, is that there isn't a first call. There are a lot of contact points over time.
China, U.S., neutral territory, Switzerland, and they're going to be talking. I was waiting for it. I thought you looked like you were going to hit the button.
China.
There it is. That's not all he said. He said, when it comes to the other trade deals that they're seeing, he thinks that trade frictions can go down. And he says that this is all really due to President Trump's leadership, what we're seeing now on the American stage, on the trade front deals, on the negotiations.
With the trade deals that we're doing, I think trade frictions can go down, that Americans can get a fairer deal. And the other thing we're seeing is through President Trump's leadership, the world is renegotiating trade. The UK and India just struck a trade deal today where a lot of tariffs and barriers came down.
It's interesting.
So what President Trump has pushed other countries to do things between each other.
So you're saying that the Trump effect is actually helping our allies as well? Oh, weird. Who could have seen this coming? It's unbelievable. Now, I don't know if we're going to see a trade deal with China this week. Let's be perfectly honest. And in fact, if you look at betting site Polymarket, which I don't know, I like Polymarket when it comes to like the presidential stuff and the campaign stuff, and they were pretty accurate during the campaign as to who was going to win the election. But Polymarket now has betting odds up for the odds a trade deal with China ends by this month. Happens this month. And the odds that they have currently are 19%. 19%. The odds are much higher with nations like India. And India has reportedly offered 0-for-0 tariffs on steel, auto parts, and pharmaceuticals, which is huge. A lot of our pharmaceuticals are made in India. So this is interesting. 19%, though, on Polymarket for a trade deal with China by the end of the month. Trump, again, he doesn't blame the foreign countries for having these deals or negotiating these deals with past leaders in our country. He blames our leaders for negotiating these deals.
Well, Laura, no one has, and that's how we've gotten here. When President Trump says he doesn't blame the other countries for taking advantage of us, he blames the previous presidents at the Resolute desk. I agree with him, because when these countries come with these good deals, like, this is a great deal. How do we get here? How do we get here? And the other thing too is we've created this barbell economy. So of course the status quo has done well. So the status quo is we have advanced finance, we have the tech sector that's the envy of the world. On the other side, we have a natural resources economy led by energy, which, by the way, the last administration tried to kill. And President Trump is filling in the arc in between with manufacturing jobs. We're down to 8% manufacturing jobs in the U.S., and research has shown the best way to get the real wage increases is in manufacturing jobs, not in the service sector.
The best way to get real wages growing is in manufacturing jobs, and that's what President Trump is focused on, and you're seeing a lot of that coming back in a lot of different places. And in fact, Bristol-Myers just announced yesterday a $40 billion investment in the U.S. over 5 years. Pharmaceutical giant Bristol-Myers. That's clutch. I'm not a big pharma fan. But I am a fan of American jobs. And listen, I'm here for it. We also need to reshore the pharmaceutical base. We saw what can happen during COVID when we don't have when we're not making medicine here in the country alone. Howard Lutnick said President Trump isn't just changing the way we think about trade. He's also changing how our partners are approaching trade. And this is Lutnick yesterday on Fox Business.
Donald Trump will change the way trade is done. You know, it used to be 2 years to do a little deal. Now we're doing gigantic deals in 90 days. So he's going to open these markets in a way the markets have never been opened before. He's going to help America grow in a way that it hasn't grown before. We're going to bring factories home, pharmaceuticals, autos, right? Semiconductors. Those factories are going to start coming home, and you're going to see growth in America as we build those factories. And I'm telling you, this feels really, really good.
We haven't even seen the positive ripple effect already from the investment that's been put into the United States since Trump got into office. We haven't even seen it. Hasn't showed up in the jobs report numbers. Hasn't showed up in the economy yet. It's going to, and it's going to be awesome. Get ready. I think we're gearing up for a wild summer with the Trump economy, and this has just been his plan all along. And the people that are behind manufacturers, the unions of the world, they love this. Teamsters President Sean O'Brien was on Fox Business yesterday talking about how Trump is bringing back manufacturing to the United States. And again, Scott Bessent said this is the quickest way to raise real wages.
I think I said this before. Whatever President Trump does, even if it's good for this country, just because his name's Trump, he's not going to get the support. We're looking beyond any differences of opinions that we've had with anybody. And we want to bring manufacturing back to this country. We want to bring jobs, put people to work, have a career path. Not everybody has the ability to go to a 4-year college. There's ability to bring manufacturing back, put people to work, have careers, and live a middle-class life.
Yeah, there's some good paying jobs out there.
I think regardless of whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or an independent, we should be realist and want to encourage people to develop and manufacture in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this is all going to benefit all Americans, not just Republicans, not just Democrats, not just conservatives, not just liberals. It's going to benefit everybody. This good economy that Donald Trump is building is going to benefit everyone. And we will drag the liberals kicking and screaming into prosperity. But again, we haven't even seen the positive effects from the moves that have been made so far. Charles Payne was on Fox Business yesterday, and he was talking about what he's seeing on the ground in the state of Louisiana and the positive effect that Trump policies are having down there.
And we just had earnings from these major companies, and they're putting hundreds of billions of dollars into this. Every time someone says this trade is over, this is not happening. I was in Louisiana this year. You have all this natural gas, and guess what? You've got these large companies that are coming to Louisiana to build data centers, right? That's the connection. Cheap energy to fuel the what's going to dominate the future, which is AI, and it's the data centers. And we've been that's been the message from the market the last 2 weeks has been that all of the things, the next page of American exceptionalism with technology, AI, data centers, cheap energy to power it. We have it all. We have it all, and we're starting to see it. These deals are big. If you don't live in Louisiana, you may not be hearing about this. If you don't live in other parts of the country, you may not be hearing about it. So we're already seeing evidence of it right now.
The next chapter of American exceptionalism is here. That's Charles Payne yesterday on Fox Business. I'm here for it. It's 11:49. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Weather can change in an instant, and you need to be prepared for any outcome. That's why Generator Supercenter of Nashville will help keep your family safe and connected. We make buying a backup generator simple and easy, with financing options available, free in-home estimate, turnkey installations, no worry warranty, and most importantly, the monitoring and service of your fully installed generator. Come see us at our location in Nashville or visit us online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
It's 11:54,
Maybe
Super
both.
Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com.
Okay.
We were just talking about Trump, whether or not the naming of, or well, he didn't name him.
He just said,
When he said, "Oh, we have a great Canadian hockey player here in Washington too." He just broke the record. Was it a low level troll, or was it Trump just not knowing? Either way, it's hilarious because
It's a Trump thing.
it infuriates the Canadian.
Yeah, totally.
They're just so angry.
And a nice swipe at Putin.
That's pretty good.
And a nice swipe at, yeah. But Ovechkin is the guy who broke the record, and he's a different cat.
Yeah, Trump says the Russian Michael Jordan. Congratulations, he's Canadian now. That's just what he does. He's like, oh, the what was it? The Persian Gulf. It's the Arabian Gulf now.
Yeah.
Ovechkin, he's Canadian now.
Well, he also told the Russians today, "Be a shame if you guys can't come to that World Cup next year."
Oh, did he really say that?
Mm-hmm.
I know you're excited about soccer.
Yeah. I love soccer.
So they put out a nice video on the White House Twitter page about the World Cup.
Yeah.
Made it 30 seconds in a minute video, and I said, I'm done.
Yeah. Yesterday I watched.
I couldn't do it.
I watched the soccer game, and it was like I've watched soccer since I was 5, and maybe the most exciting game I've ever seen in my life yesterday.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Felt the same way about the Little League game I had last night.
How'd you do? You made it sound like you played.
Felt like it did. Roller coaster of emotions.
Who'd you guys play?
We played the Tigers.
Oh, the Trois.
Oh my gosh, the fighting Tigers. They
Nice.
were putting a whooping on us.
Really?
It was like it got up to 9-4.
Then?
And there's a 5-run limit.
Oh.
So you have to switch innings, okay? 5-run limit. So my son chases down a kid who's about to cross home plate and gets him out.
Nice.
I was like, whoo. So then we're up to bat, and then a lot of hoopla, a lot of hysteria. There was an illegal T-ball bat that was being used. We didn't know. Kid gets ejected from the game. So we were talking about...
Wait. Are you being serious?
I'm dead serious.
How do you have an illegal T-ball bat?
So we didn't know. So apparently all the bats... So this is what they told me. And I'm not the baseball guy.
By the sounds of it, I bet the person who had the bat also probably didn't know.
We had no idea. So they said... So we had an issue last week, and they were like, you need this kind of bat. We're like, okay, no worries. Sorry. Like, no big deal. And then... So this week, dude, I checked every bat like 4 times because I'm just like... I don't want any of these kids to like be upset. Every bat has the USA symbol on it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, we're good. They said, look for USA bats, and then one of them was a T-ball bat, which I didn't even know. I don't know.
Okay, so you can play with the USA, but not the T-ball.
Not USA T-ball.
Okay, just a USA.
So this is like right at the end of the game. We have one out, and then this kid gets ejected. So then we have 2 outs, and at that point we had gotten it up to 9-8. So now it's 2 outs. T-ball kid's been ejected, which like love him, great kid. He had no idea. His dad had no idea. But it's just this is the fun, right? My son gets back up to bat, and he drives in the winning run.
Nice.
And it was just a wild game.
Was
Roller
it
coaster
a
of emotion.
situation where the other manager came out and told the T-ball umpire that they believe that there's too much pine tar on this kid's bat or something?
I don't know. I don't know how it happened, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't really care. Like I don't like.
It's just bizarre that you throw a kid like you normally say, hey, you can't use that bat. Go get another bat.
I don't know. Like for me, I'm like I always look at it, I'm like, we'll probably learn more if we lose. So like whatever happens, like we're good. Like I don't care. Like win or lose, like.
But now you guys know the bats with the T-ball USA can't use.
So there's the fun part. They said next game, since he got ejected, we were doing walk-up songs, which I'm torn on. I don't know how you feel about walk-up songs.
No, they're ridiculous.
I think so too. But then like all the kids are doing them, and like I can't. So I gotta let my kids do them to have fun. So like whatever. I'm not gonna be the crotchety old man. So we're doing walk-up songs, but they said next game, the kid that got ejected, he's going to have Locked Up by Akon as his walk-up song. And he's like, I mean, like 3.5 feet tall.
What is the walk-up song for kids?
I don't know.
Like we give them too much. They got like when I was a kid, man. My first few years, I wore a shirt that you put inside the dryer and it would stick together, and you had to wear like jeans or like sweatpants because we didn't have the full outfit yet. We were Shady Acres mini golf. That's who we were. Now it's like they got walk-up songs.
Oh my gosh, we're even like the team is like breaking down like start at 37 seconds. It's awesome. It's awesome. Look, all the kids are having a blast. But I was so proud, man. After the game, they win, and everybody takes a knee. I said, guys, congratulations, big win.
Good pitching.
I said, what do you want? I said, whatever you guys want, you got it. I said, I'll take you to the snack bar, I'll get you hot dogs, I'll get you ice cream. What do you want? And they said, you know what they said to me?
What?
I said, Coach, all we want is for people to like and subscribe to your show tomorrow.
Is that what it is?
Not a dry eye in the room.
I wouldn't think so.
Parents were crying.
Absolutely.
This selfless act of this Little League team.
That's the way you guys give right there.
Unbelievable. They told me that I would get back more than I put in. They were right.
I'm glad they have a snack bar at least.
They were right.
No, in today's world, it might be like, yeah, it was a snack bar. Do you want sushi?
So yeah, we're the wild team that's getting ejected.
That's so hilarious.
That's us.
You guys are all chewing tobacco,
yeah,
but instead it's black licorice.
Yep. We love it. We love it. It's so much fun, man. But shout out to both teams. Great kids, great coaches. Yeah. What do you got coming up?
You know what? We'll talk a little bit about India and Pakistan. I don't think people realize how big of a deal this could be.
No.
It might get hotter. And whose side are we on, and whose side is everybody else on? Because it's an interesting thing. Because some of our allies, not a surprise, not going to be our allies in this situation. So, which could cause for uncomfortable bedfellows. We'll talk about some other wacky stuff, including this insanity of more and more people just saying outrageous things and then getting, money.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Shiloh Hendricks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just are we at a point now where you have to overshock to get anybody to pay attention?
Yeah, I think that response to her has less to do with her and what she said and more as an FU to the left and the Carmelo Anthony GoFundMe.
Well, we talked a bit about that, but now that guy that Dave Portnoy wanted to forgive,
yeah,
he came out.
I saw that.
And he's gone.
You going to talk about that too?
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Because he went after Dave, and then he went on, some guy's show that was just, what are you people doing?
We don't know, but Chad's going to try to explain it next. It's 12:01